Men in Black. Great movie that I can watch 100 times and still enjoy it. But what about the game? Well, that's a different story. First, I played it at my cousin's house on PC when I was a kid. I loved the graphics, but I couldn't figure out what to do. Hands up everyone who played this and couldn't get out of the first apartment. Anyway, I checked if this game was also released on PS1 back then, and to my joy it was. Specifically in 1998, 1 year after its original release on Windows. This port has been done by a company called The Collective, and it was published by South Peak Interactive in North America and Gremlin Interactive in Europe. The game doesn't follow the movie plot, but has its own instead. The review in PS1 magazine was an upsetting 4 out of 10, and this game is also heavily panned on the internet, so I was quite worried about the outcome of my playthrough. I want to talk about the graphics first. Despite many people criticizing them, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Those who watched my The City of Lost Children review know that I love pre-rendered backgrounds. Many games try to copy this from Resident Evil, but Men in Black might done it the best for me. They look really sharp and beautiful. However, I had two issues with them. First was that they can get really dark in some places, so you have troubles to see where you are supposed to go or what to pick up. This game also uses the fixed camera angles, just like other survival horror games from PS1 era. But sometimes they are way too far from you, which forces you to be glued to the screen and try to figure out what to do, which is the second issue I have with them. So even though they look great, I also understand the criticism. There are also some comic style cutscenes between the locations or during debriefings at MIB headquarters. I remember that the reviewer in PS1 magazine hated them, but I think that they are nice. Gameplay is... how to put it? Not that good, mainly because of the horrendous controls. It uses tank controls which are okay for me for the basic movement part, but jumping and fighting are downright terrible. Your character jumps like some kind of doll, which feels very unnatural. And if you don't perform this funny looking jump correctly, which will be like 90% of the time, your character ends up dying, even if it won't be from a big height. The fighting is somehow even worse. You stand still while trying to punch and kick. It gets time to get used to, but thankfully the enemies are so dumb that they will often come to you so you can punch and kick them until they die. Quite common thing that you will see here is that you clearly hit your enemy, but it somehow went through him, so he remains unharmed. Weapons are a bit more fun, but nothing special really. You need to aim correctly, which is indicated by blinking target, that your gun is pointing directly at your enemy and not somewhere else. Guns are exactly like those you have seen in the movie, including the famous cricket. You can even try them in the shooting range at MIB headquarters. By the way, you can choose from 3 characters before each mission. There is Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and that lady Dr. Weaver. I had to Google her name because I can never remember it. I cannot forget to mention another painful part of the gameplay, and that is picking up the items. It is done by weird hand movement, which looks like your character is petting a dog or something. The main part of the game is picking objects, opening doors, shooting bad guys or aliens, and solving some puzzles. Puzzles are not so good, mainly because they are either too easy or you have no idea what to do. It really lacks the spark of Silent Hill or Resident Evil type of puzzles. The game is fortunately quite short, just a few missions and you are done. There is basically zero replay value here unless you want to play with all 3 characters. The levels are nice and variable, but you are basically doing the same thing. Sometimes there are some documents read by people who wrote them and some newspaper articles with bizarre headlines just like in the movie. I was expecting that the soundtrack will be a strong part here, but unfortunately it's not the case. I mean, there are some MIB tunes here and there, but nothing memorable that would stand out. The game developers couldn't even get the main actors from the movie to voice them in the game. And the punch and kick effects sound like from the 60s movies or something. I was thinking what kind of score should I give this game. Many people say it's one of the worst movie time video games or even one of the worst PS1 games in general. I wouldn't say that because there are far worse games than this, but it doesn't mean that this is a good game either. So I will give it a 4 out of 10, just like the guys in PS1 Mag. I enjoyed some parts like the Antarctica level for example, but the dull and broken gameplay ruins the overall experience. On my PS1 tier list I will put it in front of Taifu Wrath of the Tiger game, which has the same score, but I enjoy this one a bit more. Let me know down in the comments if you have ever played it or if you have some memories connected to it. At the time of the review, you can purchase this game on eBay from around $23. I hope you enjoyed the video. If yes, you can give a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell to receive retro gaming reviews every week. That is all from me for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.